I agree with you. I've faced that myself. That people say, "Oh, you're going to turn more conservative with all this." No, I'm just more resentful of this fake progressive movement that, like you said, has ulterior motives. There's more to it. It's not accurate. Like the portrayals of humans in these movements are not accurate. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's normal. And I think there's a lot of look, the game of capitalism is a very confusing one, and there's certainly some very evil aspects to it, right? But the idea that the answer is Marxism seems to me to be just as poorly thought out.
Oh, it's at least as poorly thought out. Marxism, the flaw is more obvious. I think the flaw is what we in biology would call group selection. The belief that if we just all row in the same direction, we'll get somewhere marvelous. And that's true that if we did all row in the same direction, we would. But there's a very good game theoretic reason that can't be.
Yeah.
Right? That as soon as you have everybody rowing in the same direction, then the win goes to the person who figures out how not to row and gets the benefit of everybody else's rowing in that direction while they sweep in the profits. And so that tears apart anything structured the way communism is structured.
Yeah, and that's conveniently ignored. I think I really have always believed that competition is good. And it's because I've been involved in competition my whole life, and I think it helps you understand yourself. You're competing against other people, but ultimately you're really competing against yourself because you're trying to better yourself. And I believe that that's the argument for getting children involved in athletics or games or something that's very difficult to do, whether it's chess or pool or something. I think things that are hard to do are good for you. Competing is good for you because it teaches you about focus and discipline and understanding that you can reap the rewards of hard work. And, obviously this can get distorted and you can get these, billionaire oligarchs who, control vast amounts of wealth, and then they have their family and everyone inherits it, and you have these fucking mutants that are all inbred and they're all in the same bloodline. I mean, that's history, right? I mean, that has taken place. But I think that we should work very hard for equality of opportunity. I think equality of opportunity, give everybody a chance to play a game, everybody a chance to get into something and try to better themselves with some endeavor But whenever I hear equality of outcome, that's when I put my foot down. I'm like, that's not real. You can't say that because some people work harder. And if you have true equality, you're never going to have equality of outcome. Because true equality is, I have friends that are brilliant, that are fantastic human beings, but they're essentially beach bums. They just like kick back and relax and do the minimal amount of work, get things done, and just enjoy life. Have a couple cocktails, go to the beach, have laughs with friends. That's what they like to do. And then I have other friends that want to be, world martial arts champions. And that's, you have two different kinds of lives, two different types of human beings, a style of human. One person is going to be extremely satisfied with one life and extremely dissatisfied with the other life. And you can interchange them back and forth.
Well, you said a bunch of things. We could spend 3 hours unpacking what you just said. Let's say a number of things. One, equality of opportunity is something I have yet to find the reasonable person that does not agree on this point. In principle, lots of people will tell you it's not worth the effort of trying to pursue it because of the danger of what happens if you do. But nobody disagrees. Nobody reasonable disagrees that it would be desirable to have that. Equality of outcome, it's impossible. If you pursue it, you end up with a dystopia. And even if it were possible, it would not be desirable for the reasons you point to about the benefits of what you're calling competition. And I would want to tear competition into a couple different values. There's true competition against yourself. You're skiing down the slope and you're paying attention to how you're doing and you're trying to do it better than you've done it before, right? And there's competition against others. And the thing that unites those two things is that what you are trying to accomplish is real. It is the world telling you how successful you are at something directly rather than through some sort of social channel, some sort of reward handed to you or some compliment given to you by somebody. And there's a tremendous danger in a socially mediated world in which those who are successful because some social thing has told them that they are correct. Because you can be dead wrong, seem correct, and move ahead in a social world, whereas if you're doing carpentry, if you're in some sort of competition, the nature of the beast is one that will tell you when you've got it wrong, and therefore it will allow you to actually improve your insight in whatever form you have it. So I'm a tremendous fan of the idea that even if your world is largely socially mediated, you have to make sure that some part of it isn't. And you are confronting something real enough to tell you when you're confused so that you can learn how not to be confused.
But there are people in this world that do want to push towards an equality of outcome.
Yes.
And they make it sound as if this is not just logical, but ethical and possible in the future, and that you are on the wrong side of history if you think that capitalism and competition and all these things that you just talked about are good, and that really the best thing is to force people to become some sort of utopian creature that works together in unison, and everybody is egalitarian, and there's no need for feminism and men's rights activists because everybody looks at everyone as an equal.
Well, there are two kinds of people who will advocate for equality of outcome. One kind of person is confused. They don't understand what happens if you go down this road. And the other one is cynical.